Because you're opening a door. You're opening a door. You're opening a door. I got some questions last week. And the question was asked. The question was asked, what's wrong with Christians and sex toys? Let's get in it. Can we get in it? Here is the problem. First of all, you don't discuss your bedroom with other people like you at a restaurant. Point number two, you're going to open a door that you can't shut. Because when God gave you him to stimulate you, you got something plastic, something silicone stimulating you. Now you want a dead thing to bring you alive, and you got a live thing that doesn't bring you alive. You're going to depend upon that dead thing to make you feel good. You just opened the door. Now you want to get in it, let's get in it. See? What you have learned, you have looked at the world, and you letting the world set your standard for your covenant demonstration. But you can't have bunny rabbits and ticklers and all these things in here, and your man is saying, I am your toy. I'm the one that want to make you feel good. You just opened the door. Look at somebody and say, close the door. You know you are in trouble when now you can't enjoy each other. You got to have all this other stuff because you opened the door. But he ought to be able to look at you and see batteries not included. Can't get no help here. No need for batteries. That's a door. I know y'all don't like this kind of preaching, but I'm just trying to tell you. Because see, what's happening in church, you are opening the door of perversion from the world and trying to let the world dictate to you how you should enjoy each other. That's a door. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to mess up your intimacy, but I'm telling you, you're opening a door. And you need to be talking about, how can I be a better wife? How do I get myself together? Why don't I come out of this body magic and work on my body? I know you don't like this kind of preaching here. That's what you need to work on. How can I be a better wife? How can I be a wise woman that builds her house? God, my house is dirty. I need to either clean it or get a maid. Talk about that. Because no man wants to have intimacy over a pile of dirty clothes. I feel myself here. How are we going to have intimacy and the sink is full of dishes? That's a wrong door. And you pornography believers, let's get in it. Let's get in it. Can we get in it? Since you want to get in it, let's get in it. Now, pornography, for the word fornication, the Greek word is porneia. Doesn't simply mean sex before marriage. It means to watch. That's voyeurism. And people that watch pornography are not sex addicts. They're release addicts. And the only person that should see your act of sexuality is God. The problem is, when you're watching somebody else on TV, you have entered into an adulterous relationship. Wait a minute, Pastor. Yes, while you watch two other people, the watcher is just as guilty as the doer. and you have opened the door, and you're watching all kinds of perversions, stuff you never thought you would do. You're seeing threesomes and all kinds of crazy things, and now you're wondering because you walked into a door you should have never walked into. Let's get in it. Since you want to talk about it, let's get in it. You don't need to try anything. You don't have to take lessons. God put something in you that only you can turn on a man. God put something in a man that only he can turn on a woman. That's a God thing. And when you get perverted, I promise you, we can trace your steps and look at the doors you've gone through. No woman kissing on another woman is going to satisfy you the way God designed a man to. I know you don't like this kind of preaching, but I feel something rising up in me. Don't get perverted in your thinking. God never designed a woman to satisfy a woman. You are in a perverted place. You walk through a wrong door. And on the other side of that door is death. In case you didn't know it, if I'm not a lesbian, if you practice it. And you know what else? There's no such thing as bisexual. There's something as perversion, but not bisexual. You're only one sex. See, you've opened some doors. You ought to have conversations on how can I be a better man? How can I be a better woman? Not have you tried this. This ain't cookies. You don't discuss. We're not talking about shoes. We're talking about intimacy. Because then you're going to get mad and call my office when she come to your husband and say, did she try this? No, I never seen that. Well, I tried it. Yeah, see how the amen meeting went down? You opening. Ooh, y'all don't like that. I can see. Well, you shouldn't ask me. Now, anyway, let me get back here to the text. I want you to know the truth. Don't look at me like that. I ain't scared of none of y'all. What you think you want to intimidate? You opening doors. Now, what you do in your bedroom is your prerogative. But you should not discuss it with other people and drop it in their spirit. Now you got them wondering, when they see your husband, when they see your wife, I wonder, did she really do that? How did she do that? See, you shouldn't be able to think like that. Look at somebody and say, close the door. Let's hurry. Ezekiel chapter 8. You're opening a door. That's all I'm telling you. You're opening a door. And by the time we finish this text, you got to go home and change some things. You got to go home and change something. It's very simple. It's very common, but it's the truth. It's holiness or hell. That's it. That's it. It's very simple. It's very common, and it's true. It's holiness or hell. You know what's happening? Some of you are getting too worldly. You forgot God saved you from half the stuff you're trying to dabble in. God has delivered you from half the stuff you're trying to experiment with. Ezekiel chapter number 8. You want to learn about sanctified sexuality? Read the Song of Solomon. Because you need all this extra stuff because you don't have your stuff together. Work yourself out. Get yourself in shape. You be the eye candy. What happened to that? Can't get no help here. See, they don't like this kind of preaching, but I just got to tell you the truth. I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I want you to know. But listen, You had a baby 5 years ago. It's no longer called baby fat. See, you want all this extra stuff. Oh, y'all don't like this kind of preaching. But you really want to see him get excited about you. Work yourself, get yourself back in the position you were when he chased you. You can't sit up and eat everything and do nothing and think you're still cute. Why aren't you talking to the men like that? Because men ain't trying to seduce you. We got other problems. Don't we, brothers? We got other problems. That ain't our problem. We got other problems. You're opening doors. And let me show you this. I got to give you this before we come here, Sister Hennings. You know what closes the door? Let me show you what closes the door for a man not to fall. Now, let me give you two scenarios, okay? You're not my wife now. You're just a fine sister walking down the street. And I'm looking at her. Look at the cameraman. He all over the place. Do it again, Sister Hennings. Go ahead. Yeah. Woo! My God. My. Walk on over here the way you walked over there. Now, as long as no one's with your man, he'll see that. My God, today. Ooh, what they putting in the food today. Good God Almighty. But your wife will close the door to that door so it never opens. Okay? Because if I'm walking with my wife and I see that, I am not going to rubberneck. If I want to keep my eyes in my head, I can't get no help. See, and what her presence does, it keeps that door locked. That I don't be on the other side of a room with some dead men and the guests are down in hell. See, the Bible says that call wisdom your sister and understanding your kinswoman, that they may keep thee from the strange woman. Now, it's not simply a woman, but the word strange in Hebrew is the word zor, Z-U-R. It means not of this world. And sometimes you're going to be seduced by the beautiful side of evil, that it's not going to just be something demonic, it's going to be charismatic. And you've got to fight not to walk through that door. Even though it's tempting, you got to tell yourself, I can't go through that door. You know what's happening to some of us here? We have been through revolving doors. Glass doors. You in and can't get out. Doors. Ezekiel chapter 8. I'm almost done. Ezekiel chapter number 8. Y'all all right? Door. I was watching a movie, Life of J. Edgar. In the movie, he was obsessed with communism. And he was wiretapping everybody, Eleanor Roosevelt, Martin Luther King, trying to discredit people. But he himself was a closet cross-dresser and homosexual. Never married, and his second in command, he spent all of his days with, and when he died, the second in command and got his estate. I started wondering how some doors opened. Who opened the door? Who walked into the door? Who provided the door for now this young man to desire of the men? There was a door somewhere. What happened to this girl? Last week she had a boyfriend, now she wants a girlfriend. Something happened. Somebody's gone through a wrong door. And I started watching how these things happen. And as as I began to read, I was reading a book. I like to read, and I was reading a book, and in this book it was giving you the history of some men, and then I started reading about the life of some gangsters and people that were in the mob, and I started reading the life of Pretty Boy Floyd and Babyface Nelson and John Dillinger and Melvin Purvis and all these different people. He was a G-man. He worked for the Bureau of Investigation. It wasn't the FBI. It was the Bureau of Investigation at the time. Federal came on. Then you can have guns. Before they had the FBI, they had the BI, Bureau of Investigation. They didn't have guns. They just investigated. Federal gave them the authority to have arms. Are you here? But I started reading, and I saw Babyface Nelson and Pretty Boy Floyd, how they began at 12 and 10 years old. One of their friends was stealing a bike. He said, come on and join me. You can steal a bike. It's a good feeling. So at 10, he stole a bike. At 14, he was stealing cars. By the time they started robbing banks, Pretty Boy Floyd and Babyface Nelson, they were murdered. They were shot down by the FBI at 24 years old. John Dillinger was 29. Nobody lived a long life in crime. They walked through these